If graphic design is idea turned visual, it means we usually come up with door composition as a result of our lack of understanding of the problem we're asked to solve. Welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the right illustration to achieve your design project using one of the design I received during the week from a designer. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy this tutorial, so let's start. This is the design I received during the week, and this is a bit successful, and I'm going to share why I said it's a bit successful. Now, the use of white space in this project is beautiful. All right, I like the fact that there's enough space between the information and the project. I like the fact that the title really stood out in the project, and this is beautiful. But I want to say this to you guys: the use of white space is not the only thing that make design project look successful. White space is important, but it's not the only element that make design project look successful. It's like the way you use type, the way you use color in your project. So white space is also part of the element of design. The reason why I'm saying this here is because there's also the part of paying attention to the other type of design elements. And I'm talking of the use of values here. If you look at the information we have here, all right, you'll find out that this information here is hard to read. I'm talking of this part here. And the reason why it's hard to read is because the designer did not really pay attention to details. All right, there's the part of value, which is among the elements of design that you must also pay attention to whenever you're working on design projects. And I think that's what this designer did not pay attention to here. If you look at the information here, you see that, all right, the value of the color on the hand is similar to the value of the information we have here in the project. And this affected, the reading of the information in this project. And another thing that affected the information here is, you see, when you make the size of your information small, all right, it's always best to give room for white space in your line space. All right, I'm saying this here now because of this space that we have here. Line space is very important whenever you make the size of your information small. The next thing I noticed that this designer did not really do well here is the part of the illustration. This dove image here, all right, is not really strong to connect to what the title is saying. Yeah, it's a bit close to it, but it's not as strong as what this title is talking about. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to use what I just shared with you guys there now to achieve this project. And also, I'm going to teach you guys how to use the golden ratio. I'm going to create a new document now. I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to select New. And I'm going to call this project Super. I'll leave my width to be 1080. Height is going to be 1350, and resolution is going to be 72. Then color mode is going to be RGB. Now, the reason why I'm using 72 here as my resolution is because I'm not printing the project. All right, this is just a social media design. So 72 is always best for social media project. But if you're planning to print this project, you can use 300 as your resolution. Okay. So I'm going to click on the create button. And before we start placing the element, we need to first understand the problem, because your understanding of the problem is what really helps your creativity. All right, so I'm going to paste the title now, and the Bible passage next to it is Acts 1:8, and I believe this is what inspired the title of the project. Okay, so we need to go check what we have in Acts 1:8. So I'm reading the Bible now. So what we have in Acts 1 verse 8 is Jesus tells his disciples they will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon them, and they will be his witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. So the message here is the Holy Spirit and power. And for us to reflect this in the project, we need to use the symbol that Christians use to depict the Holy Spirit. And I know so many of us already know what the symbol is. I'm talking of the Christians here. I know we all know that the right illustration to depict the Holy Spirit is dove. But you don't use the dove image without making that power effect reflect on the Holy Spirit. The use of the hand with the Holy Spirit is not strong. All right. So how you can really depict that message in the project is by using an illustration that shows the Holy Spirit symbol with power. And what really inspired this doing the research before putting the element together is, in graphic design, the success of a page relies on the how well it communicates and the effortless at which it does it. So I've gotten the right illustration for this project, and I'm going to show you guys the illustration we're using here. So this is the image we're using in the project. And what I'll do now is I'm going to make this big, all right, for now. And I'm going to be using golden ratio to place the contents in my project. And I'll explain why I'm using golden ratio in this project. You see, whenever I notice there's an effect on the image, or maybe there's a pose on the image, all right, I always like to use golden ratio to place my information and also the image in the project in order to make my project look dynamic. And the type of balance that you can use as a designer to make your project look dynamic is the asymmetrical balance. All right. And that's what I'm going to use in this project. So I'm going to drag this and send it to this side here. The use of golden ratio is not really important like that. So if you don't know how to use it, please do not hurry yourself. All right. So I'm going to create a new layer. All right. I'm going to call this layer BG. Then I'll select the brush tool. Then I'm going to sample a color from here by holding on Alt, and I'll hold on Alt and backspace to apply the color to my background layer like that. So for my golden ratio here, I'm going to change the color to a color that I can easily see. Good. So I'm going to select the OK button. So if you want to change the color of your golden ratio, when you click on this option here, then the next thing you need to do is to click on the color picker here and pick the color of your choice. So I prefer this color here, so I'm going to select the OK button. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to hide the golden ratio for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add texture to my background. And what is going to inspire the texture is going to be the fog that I have on my illustration here. So I'm going to select the brush tool and I'm going to sample this color here. So I'm holding on Alt and I'll go under my brush settings here and make sure that I'm on the soft round brush. Okay. I'm going to turn my flow down to, let's use 18. Yeah. So I'll make my brush size bigger. Then I'm going to apply my brush to the project. So I'm going to just randomly apply the brush to the project like that. All right. So I'm trying to achieve this fog effect that we have on our illustration there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer mask. Then I'll go to filter and select render and say cloud. All right. Yeah. Now you see we've gotten that fog effect from our illustration on in our project here. So what I'll do is I'll activate the golden ratio now. So I'll move this and position this here. So I'll activate the free transform and make sure this is balanced. So I'll make this. So I'm looking at this part here, this curve part here is what I'm using to place my illustration. So I'll position this here and this is better. Then, so I'm going to move this above this. All right, then I'll change the color of this to white. Then I'm going to select the OK button. All right, so it's time for us to tackle one of the parts where designers always find difficult, the part of picking the right font for the project. So the type of font I'm going to use in this project is a font that connects with what the message of the project is saying. If you read the Bible passage, all right, you'll find out that the information in that passage sound more like adventure. All right. And I know so many of us already know what adventure movie posters, what type of characters that they use. And let me tell you guys this, if you're going into creating church posters, movie posters should be your friend. Always check out movie posters. All right. The style of church posters is not really different from movie posters. So the more you get yourself addicted to checking out movie posters, the more you're going to find yourself achieving church posters easily. Okay. All right. So the type of character that we mostly see on adventure movie posters is serif type. All right. And that's the type of character I'm going to use, or fonts I'm going to use in this project. Now, you can always use sans serif to achieve the project, but because I really want to give this that adventure look, okay, so I'm going to use a serif character in this project. Then I'll change this to cop, and I'll use Hofler. So I'm going to put the link to where you can download the character I used in this project in the description section of this video, so you guys can also download the same character. So activate the free transform, and I'll make this bigger. So then I'll make a copy of this by hitting Ctrl J, and this should move up here. Then I'll double click on the layer and paste the supernatural text and select the move tool and activate the free transform. And I'm going to make this smaller. All right. And the reason why I'm making this smaller is because when you have two words in your title, it's always nice to contrast the words. There are different ways you can make contrasts in your title. There's the part of using color. There's the part of using scale, which is what I'm doing now. I'm going to hold down Shift and add space between the rows. Then this should move right here. Then I'll paste this here, and I'll break this. Then I'm also going to add space between the information that we have there. So I'll make sure this is well aligned. So I shift selected the two layers there, and let's see. All right, you see this is not well aligned. All right, we need to make sure this is touching this part here. So I'm going to hold down Shift and use the up arrow key to move this up. The reason why I allow space between this information and the title is because there's this thing called proximity in graphic design, which is grouping your elements. So the use of white space is what you're going to use to make the grouping of the elements balance. All right. I'm going to add the next level of hierarchy in the project now. So when people see the title, the next thing I want the people to see, or the viewer's attention to go to in the project, is the date and time. So I'm going to copy that now and paste this here, because you see, helping your viewers to find it easy to know what to see next in your project is part of how you make your project look interesting to them. All right. So now there's another thing I want to say here. All right. Now, Hoofler is also good for body copies. Okay. But in a case where I know I'm going to be adding too many information in this project, okay, and I know this is going to be posted on social media, I'm going to change the style of the character. All right. So I'm going to go straight to a sans serif character, because I really want to make the information in the project visible for my viewers to see. Now, there's the part of doing this in graphic design. All right. The fact that you have a character in your title does not mean you have to use the same character all through your project. All right. There's the part of you changing the character. And there are times where you can use the same super font family in your project. I'm talking of the same character with different style all through your project. All right. But in this project, I'm going to change the other information in the project to more strats. All right. So I'll use Montserrat here. So I'll change this to bold. Good. Then this should come right here. Okay, good. Then I'm going to take out the cap button here because I want this to become in sentence case. I'll double click. Then there's one information I almost miss here, which is the Bible passage. So I'm going to draw a shape here. All right. Now, the reason why I'm making use of the circle is this. You see, as a designer, you need to learn the habit of acting smart. All right. Your acting smart is part of what's going to help you know how to put the elements together that they draw the viewer's attention and also everything stay and make the message clear in the project. So the reason why I'm using the letter O here as a board is because, there's enough space for my information to stay on it. In graphic design, a fill shape is seen as a board whenever you place any information on it. And that's what I'm using here to make the small information in the project visible to the viewers. So I'm going to copy the Bible passage now. All right. So the next thing we're going to do now is to start adding colors to our project. But before we do that, guys, I have one very important information to share with you guys. You see, we get calls a lot from young people and also adults who are looking at going into graphic design. But most of these people can't afford to go to design school. So because of this, we decided to start a foundation where we can be a blessing to these people. Now, there are so many things we still need to get so we can help these people, but we need funds to get those things. And that's why we need people like you to work together with us to make this happen. We're trying to get a hall, trying to get gadgets to train them. So we need you to support us with your funds. So if you have anything you want to support us with, nothing is too small. Simply make use of the account details on the screen. Now, if you are outside Nigeria, you can always use the seller link below the account details to send your fund. Nothing is too small and nothing is too big. Now, we want to specially thank those of you who have been sending your funds to us. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate you so much. And for those of you who are still looking forward to support us, kindly use the account details on the screen to send your donation. We'll be very glad if you guys can do this for us. All right, so let's continue the tutorial. So I'm going to start with the ministering part here. So I'll copy the ministering text and pick a color from here. And because of value sake, all right, I need to make the value of, which is the brightness of the color, more higher so that there will be contrast between the background and the color. So I'm going to copy the color code and I'm going to apply the color to the slash that I have under the feature here. All right. So sorry, I'm supposed to delete this. So I'll use the text tool to select the slash. So I'll hit Ctrl V to paste. Going to make the same move here for the features. All right. Now I'm not going to use the same color that I applied to the ministering and the double slash here. Now, the reason why I'm not going to use the same color is because the feature information is small. And I really want to draw people's attention to that part of the project. So when you make the information in your project small, one of the ways you can draw attention to small information in your project is to use colors with high contrast. I'm talking of warm colors here. So what I'll do is I'm going to go under my color picker here and use something more warm. All right, so people's focus goes straight to that information there. So for the logo, all right, we can always place the logo here. All right, the logo can come. All right, so there's one last thing we need to do before we say bye to this tutorial. So we need to fade our background here to the background of our project. So what I'm going to do now is to add a layer mask to the layer of the dove. So I'm going to click on the layer mask icon. Then I'm going to select the brush tool. Then I'll switch to black because you need to be on the opposite color of your layer mask here. All right. So then I'll go under my brush settings here and make sure I'm on the soft round brush. But if you can't find your brush settings, simply go to Windows and activate it here. All right. So then I'm going to make my brush size big. Then, sorry, that's too big. Then I'll fade this. Sorry, I'm supposed to go with opacity. No, should be flow. Flow supposed to be, let's say, excuse me. So my flow is supposed to be, make it 48. So why we're making this move is because I want to be able to control the strength of my brush. So I'm going to softly apply my brush like that to fade the background to the project like so. So then for the ministry logo, let's just make that a bit bigger. So I'll go to the logo of the church here now. I'll activate the free transform. And let's move this out here and make this bigger like so. Right. Good. So now let's see the before and after. So this is the after and this is the before. Okay. I'm glad you made it to the end of this tutorial. If you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell because I'm going to be posting more tutorials like this for you to watch. Now, if you love this video, give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you want to share with me, drop it in the comment section of this video. I'll do my best to reply you. And guys, let's work together to be a blessing to other designers. Share this video with people. Let them also know about what I'm dishing out for you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.